again, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us today. Looking forward to hearing more from our presenters. So for those of you who don't know me, my name's Rhys. I'm a director here at RevizTO, and we'll run through here. We've also got Lewis Guy, our technical lead for our construction clients, floating in the background that may make a guest appearance towards the end of the session if we have time, who'll be taking questions and answering those live or after each talk. So, Yoanna, maybe you can introduce yourself. Make sure that we can hear you okay.
Hi guys, my name is Yoanna Ruseva and I'm a BIM manager for REVIZ-TO. I'm based in our London office and I work for our fit-out division.
Great. Thanks, Yoanna. And I thought Toby was joining us, but he's not today. It's going to be Yoanna. Perfect. And we've got Conor Hyde as well from ArcBIM. Hi, Conor. Morning.
Hi, Rhys. Hi, everyone. My name is Conor Hyde. I'm a BIM manager for ArcBIM, and I work as on the BIM team.
Perfect. So what we're going to be doing today is running through their presentations, followed by a Q&A after each one. And then if we've got time, we'll have more questions. So just a few introductions, I suppose, to tell those of you that are new to RevizTO who we are and what we do. Our customer base continues to grow rapidly year on year. So there's just a handful of some of the organizations that are using RevizTO. Globally, it's over 150,000. So we've seen tremendous uptake, and you'll see why as we get into the presentations. We offer an integrated collaboration platform that allows project teams to communicate in a much more efficient digital way. I won't dwell on that too much. The reason we're here today is, why should you consider using an integrated collaboration platform that is RevizTO, or employing ISG or ArcBIM. With that in mind, I will get straight to it. So, Yoanna, over to you, and fast-paced coordination on fit-out projects. So if I stop sharing my screen here, and you should be able to share now, Yoanna. Check, it's coming through.
Thank you.
Perfect. And over to you, Yoanna.
Okay. Hi guys, thank you. We wanted to, from RG, we wanted to present how RevizTO has helped us with our coordination on fit-out projects. As you can see from the agenda in the beginning, I will speak a little bit about RG, who we are and what are our goals, and how RevizTO has helped us achieve those goals throughout the digital coordination and handover of projects. And firstly, a little bit about myself. I am a BIM manager for RG. I've been with them for 3.5 years, and I've worked across a number of fit-out projects. And I've been working with RevizTO for a year now, very closely, and following the implementation across our company. RG is a global construction company that delivers projects, and we strive to deliver our projects where people can feel empowered and enjoy themselves. We are always looking for more efficient and more innovative solutions. We have a number of offices across Europe, Middle East, and East Asia. Our main goal and our main vision as a worldwide company is to be a dynamic construction company. We want to make sure that we deliver our projects on time in the most efficient and optimal way. Our business spans in 3 main divisions: fit-out, construction, and engineering services. Our roots as a business are in fit-out. And this is the division I work under, and the presentation is based on our projects in fit-out. We have delivered a number of fit-out projects across London and Europe, and these are some of the examples that we've done in the last 5 years. All those projects have a couple of things in common. And this is how we carry out our coordination. Not only that, we have found those 4 challenges for us as a fit-out company. These challenges are that we always have a fast-paced program. We almost never have a long pre-construction period, and of course, the supply chain capabilities. Because of the fact that we don't have a pre-construction period, we need to make sure that we have an efficient way to manage our design change during the construction phase. As a company, we want to make sure that in the end of each project, we deliver a fully coordinated asset-backed model. Our approach to collaboration and coordination is simple. We want to make sure that everyone takes part on it. However, as on every other project, we have a number of information resources. We have spent a number of years looking for the right solution for us. And while everything sits in a common data environment, we've always felt that there's that missing link between the drawings, the models, the point cloud surveys, and the client-directed models, as well as the shell and core models that we inherit. After a quite big research and a lot of trials, we found out that RevizTO is the right solution for us. We began our journey with RevizTO in August 2019 with a simple trial of 15 users. And quickly, we have implemented it on 6 fit-out projects, and we're continuously implementing it on every fit-out that currently comes in. Throughout this year, RevizTO has enabled us to have one interactive platform that has allowed every team member to view the model, view the drawings, and feel that collaboration is happening between everyone. As you can see from the photos, we carry out almost weekly trainings on site with the delivery teams. We had started with the trainings on site with the delivery teams. We carry out the walks with our construction managers, services managers, utilizing RevizTO, and simply viewing the models against what's installed. RevizTO has helped us immensely throughout our coordination and issue tracking progress. We usually have a week or 2 to mobilize our supply chain and ask you to prepare the federated environment. Because of that, it is really important to us that everything sits in one place. We have weekly workshops utilizing RevizTO and the models that are there. All issues that are raised are being tracked through the platform. Before, we had to spend enormous time actually producing those clash detection reports, sending them to the trades, and this would take at least 1 or 2 days. Nowadays, we do that just automatically. In the beginning of the coordination process, we set up the automatic reports and the issue tracking progress meetings. The implementation of RevizTO has not only allowed us to collaborate on a single platform, but has allowed us to track those issues from the beginning to the end, has allowed us to minimize our preparation period and utilize the automatic reporting features from RevizTO that to be sent, and those reports are sent to our trades, to our consultants, and to our client. Those functions have allowed us to be more efficient, have allowed our design teams and services teams to use the models as they're reviewing too. We use our workshops with the models open, and we don't actually review drawings within the workshops. We want to make sure that everyone has the latest information to make the right decision. This has allowed us to maximize the pre-construction period and de-risk any delivering challenges beforehand. We as a fit-out company has always felt that there's a missing link between the trades and smaller packages that don't have the capability to model in 3D, and the bigger packages that are relying only on the models. RevizTO has helped us link everyone together. The function between 2D and 3D overlaying has allowed us to link everyone together. Now everyone is working and collaborating in one place. All drawings are being loaded within RevizTO. And during the coordination meetings, when someone asks, where am I in the model, we can quickly switch between the 2D and the 3D. We can always have an overview of how many issues are and what's the problem area that our teams need to focus. Not only that, but this overlay helps us with the site walks and implementation of the snagging tools. As for everyone else, 2020 has been quite challenging. We had to switch to working from home and not being on site. However, in March 2020, we realized how much RevizTO can help us do that. Our coordination processes did not change when we started working from home. We had already established our cloud-based environment. We've had a very positive feedback from all our clients that everything can be built in the cloud space, that they're not required to come on site and review thousands upon thousands of drawings or snaps. Everything right now sits in RevizTO and is linked. All team members are able to do it. The only difference right now is that instead of doing the trainings on site, we do them online, which is quite nice. The next steps for us are the utilization of the new version of RevizTO on site as a snagging tool, which we have already begun doing, and the 2D 3D overlay has helped us immersively to get those people who don't like the actual 3D environment. They look at the drawings and then they switch to the models. Not only this, we use RevizTO we want to use RevizTO as our asset information tool. For us as a company, we want to make sure that we deliver the models, and those models need to be used from day one by our clients. RevizTO have helped us do that on a number of projects, and hopefully we'll continue doing it. Thank you very much. And I'm happy to take any questions.
That's great. Thanks, Yoanna. Some really interesting points there, and quite clearly a wide use of application for RevizTO. It's great for us to see how you're pushing the boundaries of using the technology, and that in these interesting times indeed that you've managed to capitalize on using the technology to your benefit. So let's open the floor to some questions. So anything come through, Lewis? So feel free as well, Conor, Lewis, to ask some questions.
We've got one in the chat function rather than the Q&A one. But so Yoanna, do you have any problems with supply chains BIM capabilities, especially with your subcontractors? And then I think a second question would be, does RevizTO help deliver your asset information at the end of the project as well? So.
Thank you. No, we haven't had any issues with the implementation with RevizTO and our subcontractors. It's actually the other. And we have very positive feedback from everyone who's worked with it, and we're continuously buying more and more accounts to support our contractors. And yes, we use RevizTO as one of our platforms to deliver the information requirements and the asset models to our clients. during gen stages and handover, as well as review of the models.
Perfect. Thanks, Yoanna. Anything else in the Lewis?
I think that's it for the moment. We'll see if any more come through towards the end, and we can come back to Yoanna then. But I think.
Yeah, perfect.
Another quick question. It's what's the most useful feature for you, Yoanna, from RevizTO? It's
personally, mine is the 2D, 3D overlay and the issue tracking. I think it just allows us to just bridge that gap, that cultural gap we've usually seen for people not wanting to use the models because confused where they are or they're not used to actually being within a 3D environment. So the actual overlay between 2D and 3D has helped us with that.
What sort of stitching those two questions together, having the consultants then bring in drawings into RevizTO, what's been the most successful way you found? Is that through directly from the authoring software, or are you pulling them from your CD and then up? Lewis knows the answer to this question, but I don't, and I'm guessing we get asked this quite a bit, so curious.
We do this both ways across the different projects and depends on the project. So
flexibility to do either or, right?
Yes, I think the flexibility is the most important thing for us as a fit-out company.
Fantastic. And I suppose a challenge we hear a lot is some of the consultants that you've employed may be using different technologies, right? So what Yoanna was showing, that 2D, 3D overlay, actually you could have that information coming in from different places. So it may be a structural drawing from Tekla and an MEP model from Revit. So all of that is brought together, as Yoanna has explained and demonstrated. That's fantastic, Yoanna. Really interesting to see that. And I love the quotes on the slides as we were going through as well. I was trying to read those, but they went too quickly. So I'll certainly watch this recording afterwards.
I think one more question that's just popped up for you, Yoanna. How many users do you have on a typical project?
Sorry, Lewis, I couldn't hear.
How many users do you have on a typical project?
Between 40 and 50, and I think it's constantly growing, to be completely honest. The minimum right now is 45.
Do you have any issue with big projects, or you find it the same on big projects as you do on small projects? And so...
No, we don't find that difference. So. We don't have any issues with using the software on big projects. So. And I think so, the flexibility of the software and the adaptation to different sizes projects and different complexity is one of the most important features for us.
And things will only get better once RevizTO 5 is in your hands and you start using the new version. So it's
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, your 10 minutes up at the end quite nicely, Lewis. There, great. Okay, so Toby's here as well. Hi, Toby. I don't know whether you wanted to add anything on at the tail end of that, or put you on the spot now, but I know you like that.
Hi, Rhys. Yeah, no. Hi, everyone. I think Yoanna's covered it fantastically. All of the points that we're looking at and the key features, and as Lewis said at the end, there's things that we're looking at for version 5 which we're particularly interested in, and seeing how that can help us going forward. The ability for RevizTO to start working with that asset information, or the data I should say, in those models that we're bringing in, and how we can then utilize that going forward to collect and deliver information is something that we're really interested in.
Well, fantastic. And I suppose one from me to you, Toby, we asked the same question to Yoanna, but what have you seen as sort of the main benefit across the various projects that you're involved in from the users? What's been the biggest win for people on the shop floor, so to speak?
It's access to the information. I mean, that's always the key focus of BIM, isn't it? Getting to the right information to the right people at the right time. And this platform, we've just found that it's simple, it's intuitive, and it just aids that coordination and collaboration process. So Yoanna already picked it up. We're trying to empower our teams to do this and move away from or support our team, design management, technical service management in doing that, and move the clash detection or the review of these 3D models onto the team to empower them to do it themselves. So it becomes part of that design management process, and we've seen huge adoption in that. It's been fantastic.
Oh, great. Great, thank you guys. All right, well, I'm sure there'll be more questions as we go through. So we'll hand over now to Conor Hyde, and then we'll circle back. So welcome, Conor. How are you, mate? Okay?
Yep, thank you. Thanks. I'll just start sharing my screen here.
Yeah, let's make sure that I'll switch off my camera as well so you can't see me drinking my coffee in between your slides. So yeah, that's coming through. Over to you, Conor.
Okay, thanks, Rhys. Hi, everyone. So just again, my name is Conor Hyde. I'm a BIM manager and I work for Arc BIM. Just a little bit about us. So Arc BIM have been running since 2013 and are a subdivision of Arc MC, who are an architectural firm specializing in designing data centers for the commercial and technology sectors. As a business, Arc BIM offer a wide range of services that can be tailored to our clients' needs, such as BIM consultancy, BIM management, coordination, model creation, information management such as COBie, asset, uniclass classification, point cloud laser scan surveys, production of EIRs, BEPS and BIM protocols in accordance with PAS 1192, and recently ISO 19650, and visuals and animations. Some achievements and accreditations that we're proud to announce. This year, we are proud to have been awarded the BIM Specialist of the Year 2020 at BIM Show Live. And we are currently hold 2 BSI Kite Mark certificates for achieving BIM Level 2 compliance in both the PAS 1192 suite and ISO 19650 standards. Some of the clients that we've worked for in the past, again, there are probably some clients here similar to RevizTO as well, but this construction industry, we're all working together. So what I'm going to do now is sort of explain how we've been using RevizTO through a live demonstration, and focusing on how we use RevizTO with our clients, the main contractors, and also the subcontractors, because on a lot of projects we work on, we could be appointed in 3 different roles or for 1 role individually. So I'm going to speak about how we use RevizTO with our clients first. Sorry. So by using RevizTO, our clients can easily gain access to real-time project information. This has helped them to stay.
Sorry, Conor, mate. You can stop sharing your screen, have you?
Oh, is that back on?
There we go. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so yeah, by using RevizTO, our clients can easily gain access to real-time project information. This has helped them stay in sync with all stakeholders providing construction services during all phases of the project. RevizTO has unlocked the ability to view and manage different services on their project, navigate 3D models from design team, and access 2D contractual information associated with their building. So when we give access to our clients in RevizTO, they're able to navigate the building just like everyone else. For ease on this project, we've set up different views for them so they can actually quickly view the superstructure and substructure. They can quickly see all of the MEP services. They can focus on facade, and then as we get into construction, they can just focus on the architectural packages that we currently have in the project. The issue tracker allows our clients to see valuable past meeting information and conversations that they would have been traditionally left out of, verifying critical information like specific pieces of equipment or features within their building. Some examples of this on this particular project was the client has been involved from the start, and we were able to basically resolve some issues with the lift brackets being shown. So during the design of this project, the lift was a central part of this building in the main atrium, and the client had noticed from the model that some of the bracketry that supports the lift glazing was quite heavily sort of over designed, and we noticed this from the model, and it was something that we probably wouldn't have picked up on 2D information. So by using RevizTO, the client was able to raise these questions. We were able to then have coordination meetings and resolve it using the model. Some other issues that we'd found was with certain features that the architect had designed. Specifically here was for an access ladder onto the roof. You can see that the architect's design ladder had come out further than when the subcontractor's design had come on board. They had fixed it back. So there was questions like this was risen, and we tried to find the best solution for the client, because at the end of the day, this is their building. So, but we also tried to integrate. We had to take on board what the subcontractor was saying about how ladders are fixed back and stuff like this. So, within RevizTO, obviously, pictures and markups are a very important thing, and adding comments. So, as you can see from the chat history, we're able to quickly open up the subcontractor's drawings, see exactly how their details were working, and try and get more input from them and the client together. So another thing that helps us with the clients is having the dashboard feature for reporting. So having access to reports allows the client to actually see high level what's been going on in our bi-weekly coordination meetings. So reports are then produced and show all the issues that we've either opened, closed, or in progress from the past few weeks, but also keeps a record of all the chat history between each issue. So the client has complete visibility over what's going on within their building. We've noticed our clients are now playing a more integral role throughout the project at high level, and users can view live feeds to the project, monitor, track, and report on tasks, and understand the overall project status. Upon project completion, all project information such as COBie data, Uniclass 2015 classification can be packaged together in RevizTO to help our clients and their facility managers for the lifetime of their project. I'm going to go on to talk about how we've been using RevizTO with a contractor, which is primarily our main role on most projects. So inaccurate communication and information transfers can cause major project setbacks that cause contractors time and money. By giving the contractor early access to project information, it has allowed them to reduce the costly issues throughout the project life cycle. Contractors are generally isolated from the design process, impacting their ability to convey a general construction knowledge to the design team, resulting in significant rework before coordination can begin. RevizTO allows us to overlay 2D and 3D information and gives the contractors the ability to share versions across teams. Users can see all integrated sheets, PDFs, and even Revit sheets that have been brought in by users' hands, and can be confident that what they're viewing is the most up-to-date version. So one of the really good features that we can sell to our contractors is the 2D feature, which you can overlay onto 3D. This is probably my favorite feature of the platform, because a lot of probably contractor, I don't want to say older people, but some people are more used to viewing things in 2D, but the ability to have this feature is sort of bridging that gap between the more modern way of viewing things in 3D, but also keeping that ability to bring everything in 3D as well. So this is one of the features that we've really found helps us in coordination. It also helps us navigate buildings, and it helps the main contractor see what's physically going on both in 2D and 3D. And then the dashboard. So the dashboard feature gives contractors a high-level project information alongside customizable charts to view the overall project health or filter down into individual assignees. These charts provide project managers a better understanding of their project and actionable information at the project level. Users can quickly access, assign, and manage project-related tasks such as open issue private groups. The issue tracker allows contractors to categorize issues, automate tasks, and ensure completion and drive accountability within their supply chain. We have found that using the stamp tool for focusing on builders' work openings has helped identify areas that were missed on traditional 2D drawings and has helped create reports back to the main contractor to catch these issues before we get to site. By leveraging RevizTO as an integrated collaboration platform, contractors can eliminate communication issues from ill-prepared coordination meetings and human error. Meetings on site can become more proactive by utilizing RevizTO on iPads and mobile devices, virtually building and viewing all project data in real time from an easily accessible platform. Some areas we have looked to develop and assist the contractor is by identifying CDM hazards within the models, so site managers are constantly aware of what's happening around them, and also using the video tool to record stuff like site inductions for the subcontractors arriving to site, so that they know exactly where they need to go by using the latest model and live project information. So this is something we'd be looking to do with our contractors in this project, but we still have room to sort of implement these processes going forward. So this leads me on to talk about our subcontractor use. So for years, subcontractors have relied on manual processes to pass construction and design information across various teams. Leaving room for human error that causes project delays and generally leads to additional costs. By using RevizTO, it allows all task team members to account for constructability constraints before they become an expensive rework. Subcontractors can overlay 2D plans with 3D models to provide better context for their fabrication on site. So, for example, we've taken the kitchen drawings, we're able to overlay that with their model that they've produced. We can cut you've got all the notes from the drawing listed on. We can cut that back to see the carcass of the wardrobe. We can now start to see the water heaters that are being put in. So we know that some cupboards will probably be fixed closed, and this also just helps visualize it again in the 3D environment. Subcontractors are empowered by having access to real-time updated data. This allows them to find the information they need without having to wait for someone to return a dimension. All this can be done within RevizTO. Identifying and tracking issues via emails, phone calls is no longer considered to be the most effective communication method. It is now seen as a more efficient way to snap a picture from site, add digital markups, or add text, and execute all of this within the RevizTO platform. Users can directly assign tasks to other task team members and assign multiple watchers to any given task to drive accountability to ensure completion, all the while cutting down on delays from broken communication. RevizTO is helping us to eliminate information bottlenecks with real-time communication directly within the platform. enabling all team members to actively collaborate on site from the office, or more commonly now with COVID, working from home. Users can communicate one-on-one or in groups, and then send instant notifications to all members of the team. Communication is all stored within the chat history. And I'll just pull up some examples. So like builders work, for example, is something that we're focusing on at the minute. So we've asked that can 2D drawings be checked to make sure that builders work haven't been missed in the models. And this is all trying to get our teams in sync to share their specialized knowledge to achieve better deliverables. So thank you for listening to that today. And I'll pass this back to Rhys.
Excellent work, Conor. Some really interesting comments. I've been scribbling down there myself, and it's great to see you empowering both your clients and some of the subcontractors. So where do you think the biggest benefit has been seen, if you were to compare a subcontractor to the client, who's, from your experience and your projects, engaged?
Yeah, I personally find that using RevizTO has helped us massively with the subcontractors, because traditionally they would have been just focused on 2D drawings and sort of getting them signed off, but having the ability to actually view it in 3D and 2D together in one platform has helped them better understand what they need to do, especially when it comes to BIM and the level of detail that's required. Some subcontractors may not grasp exactly what's required, so having a platform like this, creating issues, having chats is definitely more beneficial for us to sort of help them, lead them through their first BIM process.
Excellent. Well, welcome questions now from our audience. So in the chat log or the Q&A log, if you fire down some questions there, then we can.
I've got a couple of questions for Conor from myself, actually, just because I was intrigued by some of your processes. So it's so first question was about your the clients that you're working with. You mentioned about how they sort of spotted things about the lift in the model directly. Do you give your clients access into the model so they can create issues and mark things up directly and actually communicate with the teams that way, or do you sort of communicate with them in a meeting together and you'll raise the issue on their behalf, or how is that working with the clients at the moment?
Well, for this project, actually, the client and the architect are one, so they were given access early days. So by having them involved, actually, sometimes they're sort of starting to see, like, what is this going to look like when we move in day one, and is this really what it's going to look like in the model? Is the model correct? Is the drawing correct? So by having the model up to date and by giving them access to RevizTO, it gives them the option to sort of view their building virtually before they actually move in, spot some things that maybe they would like to raise. Like, for example, when we talked on the lift bracketry, because it's such an integral feature in this atrium, they wanted to reduce the appearance of supports and kind of give it the feeling that the glass is sort of floating. So again, this was tailored back to what the architect had designed, and the client obviously fell in love with that, so they were very keen to keep that a feature of the building. So
do you think in the future projects you'll try and get the client into RevizTO and give them access so they can start doing more of that on their projects? Yeah, absolutely. I think there's no sort of bad side to it. There's only good can come from it. So I would definitely be pushing for clients to be more involved in their buildings. Yeah, cool. I've got 2 more questions from myself because I genuinely is intrigued by this process. So coordination meetings, you said that you kind of like, they're a lot easier now to sort of manage once you've got RevizTO. Do you find that you have less time spent just looking at sort of really basic and obvious problems with the model because RevizTO is being used constantly throughout, you're getting rid of most of those just in a direct communication between people inside of RevizTO, so that the meetings can be more heavily focused on kind of key areas of where you need sort of more people's input. Is
Yeah,
that
no,
coordination meetings going?
Yeah, it's definitely streamlined our process. You know, we have a coordination meeting on this project every 2 weeks where the client, main contractor, and subcontractors are all involved. So it's definitely sort of opening the field for everyone to get involved. And one of the things that, you know, the automated reporting has also saved us a lot of time, saved the contractor a lot of time. And we can actually, we've started to focus on, obviously we run clash detection tests, but we also do virtual floor plate walks. So, because sometimes you do miss issues in tests, and you might only notice it from actually walking the floor plate. So by doing this, we've actually sort of focused more on the more major issues, and to sort of give the client, you know, a bit more feedback, because a lot of clients would say to me, you know, what's the benefit of BIM? What's the reason we're doing all this? Like, what do I get out of it? What's the cost saving and stuff? So we sort of came up with an idea on this job that for every issue we had, if we assigned £500 to it, you know, that if they weren't using RevizTO or, you know, some other platform, that, you know, they would have to, that would be a cost on site. So at the minute on this project, we're only at shell and core, but we've closed out probably over 1,000 major issues. So, you know, the way we look at that, there's a £500,000 saved to the client that, you know, he would have had to pay for on site. So things like that are definitely helping them more understand.
Cool. And my final question, similar with Yoanna, you mentioned that the 2D, 3D overlay is one of your favorite features of the platform. Do you find it useful for where things like connection details and stuff like that have only been drawn in 2D and not actually modeled up in 3D? Do you find that like a useful way of visualizing that information inside the model? Is that something that you use it for?
Yeah, we've now on this project, we're actually lucky that, you know, our contractors are modeling up the connection details, especially in the structure. So, but we do have that link back to 2D. You know, when we start to query certain connection details, we can always check it in 2D just to make sure that it is correct. So it is definitely beneficial.
And then one question from the Q&A, talking about the videos that you produce for like your inductions and stuff like that. You're just using the RevizTO video recorder for producing that. Do you take it out and do any sort of post-production, or you're just happy with the videos that come out?
We would always use the model to produce the video, because it's what everyone on site will be using on iPads and mobile devices. So we would use the video tool in RevizTO, but we probably would edit certain bits to maybe add notes or sort of key features that we want the site inductee to follow.
But you find the video tool easy enough to
oh yes, yeah,
animations and things like that.
Yeah, it's been very easy to use, and we even have like some of the subcontractors sort of playing around with videos to show off their parts of the model as well, which has been quite nice to see.
Perfect. Well, lots of questions, which is great, and lots from Lewis. So as you've got the mic, Lewis, and we've got 13 minutes to go, why don't we jump into maybe a 10-minute show and tell of what we've got coming in 5, or what's available now to take a look at with our clients. So it's been great seeing these use cases from both ISG and ArcBIM. So thank you for those stories, and please do throw in any more questions if you have any. We've just gone into open beta for version 5, and I think as we've got a bit of time, it may be worthwhile just giving you a sneak peek of that, Lewis, if you're up to the challenge. It wasn't on the agenda, but hey, why not?
Yeah, no problem at all. So
over to you, Lewis.
Yeah, perfect. So RevizTO 5, as Rhys said, kind of due for release pretty soon. a massive overhaul has happened. A lot of it is kind of behind the scenes, and as a result, the interface is very similar to what people have known and used in RevizTO 4. So people that know RevizTO 4 aren't going to be too shocked by what they see in RevizTO 5. So you've got that continuity and the, just that ease of knowing what you're looking at without having to get used to a brand new system, even though a lot of what we're doing has now been sort of changed. Key things that have changed in RevizTO, we've now got an undo and a redo button, which is going to be quite exciting for a lot of our users. The undo and redo button, it's quite surprising in 2020 to say that we've just added that, but it's finally here, and that will undo anything that we do in the 3D space. So if I change camera location, if I just sort this out, we can rotate the model, we can then undo back to previous locations, and we can redo and change that information. So it won't undo anything in the issue tracker, but it will undo anything that we sort of do in the 3D view. So that's quite nice to have that inside of RevizTO finally. We've also now started to add buttons where before it was quite difficult to set things up. So we can now select components, and if we want to hide them, we've now got a hide button. So we've got these brand new buttons down here. So we've got kind of a turn clashes on and off. We can show everything. We can isolate in transparency. We can isolate the components out, and we can hide things. So in RevizTO 4, you would have to sort of go to our object tree and try and turn things on and off, and it was a little bit difficult to create those views in the way that you'd want to. Whereas now I can just select the mechanical model, and we can isolate that and pull that information directly out of the system. So this works really nicely to allow you to set views up and store these into the project. So again, Conor was mentioning about the views that he set up for the different users, this thing's showing up. So he would have the view set up for like a structural view and a mechanical view. And it's fair to say that sometimes that wasn't always the easiest thing to do. If you're going purely on model basis, it was okay. But if you wanted to go into any more sort of detail, it was quite difficult to set the views up in specific ways. Whereas now we've got the option to break models down by level, then by category. So for instance, I can now just take all my level 0 pipes and ducts. I can just right click and I can isolate, and I can pull that information out directly. So the way in which we can customize the views so that people can see what they are actually interested in rather than what RevizTO kind of thought they were interested in is a nice feature to now have. And again, these can now be saved as views, and as the models update and objects get added, it will automatically sort of keep those views growing on the project. So that's a really nice feature to have. Another nice feature that we've improved on is our search bar for objects within the object tree. One thing that I always find quite annoying is when I select a pipe in the mechanical model, I'm actually getting the installation and not the actual pipe itself. So one nice thing that we can do here is we can just simply type in the word installation, and it will find all the installation in the project, and we can then just use that hide button to get rid of it. So when I'm selecting a pipe now, I'm actually selecting the pipe, and therefore the properties that I'm seeing with it are going to be based around the pipe itself and not with the installation. So this is a really kind of useful new feature. We can also do things where with the search bar that if you know that there's a particular size of a component in the model, but you don't know where it is. I know that I've got some 410 litre kind of like water tanks. I can just do a search for that, and then we can isolate in transparency, and it will highlight those components for me in the model. So someone mentioned there was 410 litres. I have no idea where they were, and straight away I can now see really obviously where those water tanks are in the project. So the search bar and the way that the information is now structured within RevizTO just makes it a lot easier to customize those views and control what you're seeing a lot easier than it was before. Also new with RevizTO is, well, before we got to that, the key thing here is that we mentioned before that RevizTO 5 looks the same as RevizTO 4, and most people will want that, but we then have the more advanced toolbar that you can access by clicking on these 3 dots, and it brings up the new features that exist within RevizTO. So we kind of imagine that to start with, at least, it's going to be more of the BIM sort of specialist people on the project that will want to use these buttons. and the normal user will want to keep it as it was, so they can switch between the toolbars to see it. As they start using it more, they'll want to progress into the new features and they can get access to it quite easily. But one of the first things that we've got is the ability to find objects. So we can just add property conditions. I can just type in, for example, system classification, and I can pull that out. From here, we can then say, show me all the domestic cold and hot water, and I can find all. And again, it's going to show me all the domestic cold and hot water. These can then be saved as cert sets within RevizTO. So if you're going to use them over and over again, you can save that search and just get access to it. Again, this will add to what Conor was doing before with his views for different people. He can now work with cert sets to do that as well. In addition to cert sets, just looking in the whole model, we can also add a section box into to the search. This is where now I have to try and guess where it goes because it's gone to Hyde. So there we go. So we can now set up a section box that's in a particular area of the building. In this case here, I'm going to set it up just for this small section. Currently, when I did the domestic cold and hot water, it selected around 6,000 objects. If I say done now and we do find all, it's only found 1,600 objects. And if I turn off the section box, you can now see that the objects that are selected are the ones that actually intersected with that section box. So it's now going to be possible to set up cert sets that are looking at floor-to-floor section boxes or zoned section boxes, whatever it is. Obviously, pipes that go into more than one area, that's always going to be a problem, but at least it breaks it down and keeps it sort of a bit more local so that you can actually have specific areas within the search sets. So that's a really useful feature of the search items. Another nice thing that we've got with this now is we've got our properties have been improved. So I'm just going to isolate this out. And so in the past, if you were looking for, just going to hide my insulation. If you were looking for certain properties in RevizTO, you would have a huge long list of information to scroll through because it's taking all the data out of RevizTO or Navisworks or whichever system you're using to export from. And what we can now do is we can now create favorites. So for example, I want to create a favorites that's specific for my pipes. So we can say, I want my domestic, I want my classification and my system type. I also might want things that are good to my geometry. I want to get my length and I also want to get my diameter. So we can then add this to our favorites. I'm going to call this my pipe favorites. And this now is generated at the top. I don't want those two, so I'm going to remove those. And what that means now is I don't have to look through the list of data that's in RevizTO. I've pulled out the bits that are interesting to me, and as I click through the model, I'm going to see that data update for different purposes. So this is a really nice feature now that different users on the project can have different favorites and they can actually see the information that they're interested in. With the favorites, they also act as a quick property, so I can just hover over the component and I will now see those properties directly on the mouse. So again, really useful feature. And one last thing with this process is, I'm just going to give an example. I'm just going to select a couple of pipes for this and not do a whole thing. But so I've selected these 6 pipes. We can now go into our selection inspector, and the headings for our selection inspector are based off of the favorites that we've created. So I've got my domestic hot water, I've got my system type, so I can see I've got flow and return. These happen to all be 80 mil diameter, but I've got the length here. We can now actually export this out to Excel. So I'm going to save that to my desktop and let's just open that. And we can now pull that information out to Excel. And assuming that this was more information than just these 6 pipes, but I can just take my total count and I can work out what's my total length of pipe on my project or my total volume of concrete. Whichever favorite headings we use to generate this, we can extract that out as headings in the model. So we're now making RevizTO not just used by the BIM team and the design managers, construction managers, design teams. We're now saying that people like the QSs on the project can actually start working in RevizTO and extract the information out that they're interested in, which is things like length and volumes and diameters and all that kind of information. and they can pull that into Excel, and they can start working with that in other systems, or they can start creating formulas within that Excel to generate costs and things like that. So with RevizTO 5, it's not just for the people that have used RevizTO 4. We're now saying that everyone on the project can definitely find a use for the RevizTO 5 platform.
Yeah, straight to the point and bang on time, Lewis. So thanks for jumping there last minute and showing everyone around version 5 briefly. If you want to see more of that, then just get in touch with Lewis or myself. So let me just switch this here. Thank you. Really interesting stories being shared today. I'd like to extend my thanks to Conor, Toby, and Yoanna for jumping into today's session and sharing your story, the journey with RevizTO. You know, we're both proud to be part of what it is you're doing, and you know, that journey will continue to grow as we work even closer together moving forward. So really appreciate your time. I know everyone is busy, and also to everybody that's jumped into today's session to learn you know, what ISG and ARC have been doing with our technology. So we'll bring the session to a close there. If you do have any questions, then feel free to send us an email. We'd love to get your comments, questions. If you do want to try RevizTO for yourself, then there's a free trial available for anybody that wants to do that. So thank you very much. We'll speak to you all soon. Stay safe, keep busy, and take care. Thank you, everybody.